welcome back to Randomness Central. I'm Scone, here you guys today with my October 2016 wrap-up and November TBR, which I'll be filming later on this week and uploading also later on this week. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. If you don't know what a wrap-up is, you'll get the hang of it. Let's get started! The first book that I read this month is Call Me By My Name by John Ed Bradley. Hopefully I got the name of the author right. But this book I don't have with me anymore, but it is about a black high school football player named Tater Henry, who is just an awesome football player. He is awesome, legendary, like breaking all the records at the school and all that stuff, scoring the most touchdowns and all that jazz. However, the book also centers around two other characters, fraternal twins, Rodney and Angie. Tater gets into a relationship with Angie, and Rodney doesn't like that, so conflicts arise even though Tater and Roger are best friends, despite the fact that they are living in segregated Louisiana, and Tater is black and Rodney is white. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, or was it 4.5? One of those ratings. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I appreciated that there was so much going on within the novel. Like, it wasn't just a sports novel, and it also was not just a romance novel. And there are many other elements like plot and character and theme and all that stuff. There were many aspects of the story, and I appreciate novels that have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of aspects without being too overwhelming. The second book that I read this month I also don't have with me, and that is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This I've heard a lot of buzz about on Goodreads. Like, practically everyone I knew on BookTube and even in real life just gave the book 5 out of 5 stars. Like, I haven't heard one bad thing about it. And I can see why! A Monster Calls is so awesome. Basically, the novel centers around 13-year-old Connor, who's living in England in modern times, and his mother is undergoing cancer treatments. And he's being bullied at school for it, being shunned and ignored and all that stuff. Suddenly, he seems to summon this ancient monster who apparently wants the truth. Ooh, scary. Although it's not really scary, although the illustrations are really creepy. It's not that scary, and it's more, not necessarily heartwarming, but it's more heartfelt. That's the word I was looking for. The novel's more heartfelt, and it's pretty easy to get through. Yeah, 5 out of 5 stars would definitely recommend. I should probably put some light into the screen so that it doesn't look like I'm filming in some dark abyss. But anyway, the third book that I read this month, and the final one that I actually do have with me, is Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger. This is the first book in the Finishing School series. I don't know how many books are in this series, and I don't really care, because I did not entirely enjoy this book too much. I gave it 3.9 out of 5 stars because I did not like the anti-feministic wit, as I term it. Okay, so a little bit of info about the plot. This book takes place in a steampunk dimension of Victorian London and centers on 14-year-old Sophronia Temnick, who is a disgrace to her mother. She climbs trees, she likes to know how things work, and she's not really interested in learning manners and proper etiquette and all that junk. So, her mother sends her off to this finishing school, Mademoiselle Geraldine's finishing school for young ladies of quality, to be specific. However, this isn't an ordinary finishing school. No. This finishing school not only teaches etiquette, but also teaches the ladies there how to be spies. While that sounds like an amazing concept with so much potential, it wasn't necessarily the plot that was too bad. I mean, the plot was pretty good. I mean, it had a pretty good ending for a first book. However, the writing was kind of poor, and the anti-feministic wit was getting so much on my nerves. And what I mean by anti-feministic wit, meaning that there are a lot of jokes demeaning girls and women, If this was a good book, I wouldn't have minded too much, even though I do identify as a straight female. However, I minded it, and a lot of the annotations I made in this novel were solely about the anti-feministic wit. So yeah, this book kind of bothered me, and it was a bit of a struggle to get through. And that is it for my October wrap-up. Now let's move on to my November TBR. The first book that I'm planning on reading in this month is one that I'm almost finished with, and that is Monster by Walter Dean Mayers. But this is the graphic novel adaptation of the book, adapted by Guy A. Sims and illustrated by Dawood Anyabwil. Still butchering his name, but I'm sorry. I can't say but whatever in this day and age. I have mentioned this in my Fall Time Cozy Time book tag and my October TBR video, so yeah, that's why this looks so familiar. But as a repeat, for those of you who have already seen those videos, and for those of you who have not, this will be probably new to you. But this book is about a 16-year-old black male named Steve Harmon who is arrested for murder, and this whole book centers around his murder trial. And it's really interesting and gritty. I'm really loving it so far. It's kind of an unexpected favorite of mine now. I like the realness and the authenticity and the grit of it, especially in the graphic novel. It just displays such grittiness, and I'm unexpectedly really loving this, and this could be a 5 out of 5 star read. I'm not entirely finished with it yet. I still have 9 pages left. 9 pages. That may not seem like much, but trust me, 9 pages is a bit, even in a graphic novel. The second book on my November TBR is more of a shorter read, and this one I was planning on reading last month, but didn't get to it because Etiquette and Espionage was so slow. That is Haunting Tales by Nathaniel Hawthorne. This is a collection of haunting tales written by Nathaniel Hawthorne. This would have been so awesome if I got to read it in time for Halloween, but I didn't. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I didn't know that he wrote scary stuff until now. Because he's just famous for the Scarlet Letter nowadays. The third book on my November TBR is one, it's actually my TBR pick for October. TBR jar pick for October. And that was, oh, by the way, the TBR jar pick for October was a book that Goodreads has recommended to you. And that book is Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. I never thought I would get to reading this, to be honest, but I'm looking forward to it. Sounds interesting, and when I checked it out, I was in the mood for a pirate-ish novel, more of an adventure novel, and I'm really looking forward to this one, surprisingly. I've been avoiding this book for years. If you don't know Treasure Island, I don't really know too much about it either. All I know is that it's a classic and that it's about pirates. Not entirely too familiar with the characters, but hey, that's why I'm gonna read it soon. Hopefully this month. The fourth book on my TBR is more of a heartwarming read, and that is Danny, the Champion of the World by Roald Dahl. All I know is that it's about a boy named Danny and his father who have to outsmart a greedy landlord. That's all I know. It's one of the few Dahl books that I have not read yet, and it looked interesting when I walked into King's Books and saw this. I also got Haunting Tales at King's Books. But yeah, the last time I went to King's Books, so I got these 2 books, and I'm really excited for this one. And considering how November I have not only Thanksgiving break, but I also have Veterans Day off, I will probably have a little bit more reading time than usual. The 5th book on my TBR that I picked for myself, because after this I'll be presenting my TBR jar pick, is One for Sorrow, Two for Joy by Clive Woodall. Don't know much about this. This has pretty much been a bench warmer on my shelf. And if you don't know what a bench warmer is, in bookish language, a bench warmer is a book that's been sitting on your shelf for literally forever, that they're basically warming the bench. And I really need to read this. I got this like a year or so ago. It's been sitting on my shelves for a while and I've been wanting to read it. And this month, hopefully, I will get to this. And all I know is that it's about a kingdom of birds, and it's a fantasy novel. I'll be looking more into that when I get to reading this. And now for the last TBR book for November, the long-awaited TBR Jarvik. I wonder what this is. Oh! I got Reluctant Cavalier by Donald Barr Chidsey. The book is actually right next to me. My shelves are next to me, so I'll go get that. Okay, so this is an older book, published in 1960, I believe. And all I know is that it takes place during the Elizabethan era and centers around Queen Elizabeth and Francis Drake, or some people similar to that. Don't really know too much about it. There is a blurb, but I'm too lazy to read the blurb right now. And excuse me, one thing I really like about this book, not only that it's old, but also it has colored page tints. I absolutely appreciate colored page tints in a book. They just make the book so prettier and much more of a pleasing aesthetic. And I just know I'll be sneezing a lot when reading this, although I don't entirely know if I'm allergic to dust. I'm probably not. I'm probably being dramatic, but whatever, I'm a YouTuber, I'm allowed to be dramatic. And that is it for my November 2016 TBR. I have 6 books. Hopefully I'll get through at least most of them. I want to at least get through Treasure Island, or maybe more ambitious, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy. But yeah, I have a couple breaks during the month coming up, so I'll probably have some more reading time. Then again, who knows? And I will... Thanks for watching! Nearly forgetting my outro. Tune in next time for more random crap, and appreciate that I'm balancing 6 books on my head. Bye!